What is up, guys? And welcome to the 7 levels of fictional corruption. In this video, we're ranking corrupt characters from the absolute worst to the very best. We're judging them based on how effectively they use corruption to gain power, how well they cover their tracks, and how long they maintain their corrupt empire without getting caught. Let's dive in and see which of these fictional corrupt characters really deserves the top spot. Level 1, Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. Starting at the bottom, we have Jordan Belfort from the Wolf of Wall Street. Now, Jordan made millions through stock fraud and built a massive brokerage firm. But when it comes to being sophisticated about corruption, this guy is a complete amateur. His fatal flaw is that he's way too flashy and has zero discipline. He's throwing money off buildings, doing drugs in the office, bribing officials in obvious ways, and living an absurdly extravagant lifestyle that screams, "Investigate me." He's committing securities fraud while acting like he's invincible. From a corruption perspective, Jordan has the ambition and the intelligence to make money, but he has no idea how to stay hidden. He's bribing Swiss bankers in the most obvious ways, he's keeping incriminating evidence, and he's surrounded by people who will flip on him the second the FBI shows up. Which is exactly what happened. Jordan lasted a few years before the FBI built a case so solid he had no choice but to cooperate. His only strength is his sales ability and charisma. But that's it. Jordan Belfort represents someone who confuses making money with being untouchable. That's why he's at number 1. Unlike Jordan, who couldn't keep his mouth shut or his lifestyle subtle, you can make a smart move right now by hitting that subscribe button. Completely free, totally legal, and it won't end with you wearing a wire for the feds. Do it. At level 2, we have Detective Alonzo Harris from Training Day. Alonzo is a corrupt LAPD narcotics officer who's been stealing from drug dealers, planting evidence, and running his own criminal operation for years. But his fatal flaw is that his corruption is completely unsustainable. Alonzo's strength is that he understands the streets and knows how to manipulate the system. He's got connections with gangs, he knows how to work informants, and he's built a network of corrupt cops who cover for each other. He's been getting away with it for over a decade. But here's the problem. Alonzo's corruption is held together by fear and violence, not by intelligence. He owes money to the Russian mob, he's made enemies everywhere, and his entire operation depends on keeping everyone scared. The second someone stands up to him, like Jake does, the whole thing collapses in less than 24 hours. Alonzo represents the corrupt cop who thinks he's untouchable, but is actually one bad day away from losing everything. He's more sophisticated than Jordan because he lasted longer, but his foundation is unstable. That's why he's at level 2. At level 3, we have Tommy Carcetti from The Wire. Carcetti starts as an idealistic city councilman who genuinely wants to fix Baltimore. But the higher he climbs, the more he compromises his principles for political power. His corruption is different because it's gradual and self-justified. Carcetti's strength is his political intelligence and his understanding of how the game works. He knows how to manipulate the media, how to play racial politics, how to make promises he won't keep, and how to sacrifice the city's needs for his own ambitions. He goes from reformer to just another corrupt politician. But here's his limitation. He's not corrupt enough to be truly effective at it. He's caught between his ideals and his ambition, which makes him weak on both sides. He won't fully commit to helping Baltimore, but he also won't fully commit to ruthless corruption. That indecision means he never achieves real power beyond being governor. Carcetti represents the politician who corrupts himself slowly and doesn't even realize he's become what he hated. He's more sophisticated than Alonzo because he operates at a higher level, but he's not ruthless enough to dominate. That's why he's at level 3. At level 4, we have State Senator Clay Davis from The Wire. Now this is where we start seeing professional corruption. Clay has been stealing money, taking bribes, and manipulating the system for decades, and he's never faced serious consequences. Clay's genius is that he understands exactly how corruption works in politics. He takes money from everyone, he promises everything to everybody, and when investigators come after him, he plays the race card and turns it into a political circus. His, "I'll take any motherfucker's money if he's giving it away" philosophy is corruption as an art form. But it's not just about taking bribes. Clay knows how to spread money around to the right people, how to create political cover, and how to make himself valuable enough that powerful people protect him. When he goes to trial for corruption, he gets acquitted because he's that good at playing the system. Clay represents the career politician who's mastered corruption as a survival skill. He's operated for decades at the state level without serious consequences. His limitation is scale. He's powerful in Baltimore, but not beyond that. That's why he's at level 4. At level 5, we have Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Littlefinger turned corruption into a weapon for social climbing. He went from being the son of a minor lord to master of coin, to Lord of Harrenhal, to Lord Protector of the Vale, through pure manipulation and corruption. Littlefinger's genius is his understanding that chaos is a ladder. He doesn't just participate in corruption, he creates it. He manipulates Lysa Arryn into poisoning her husband, which starts the entire War of the Five Kings. He betrays Ned Stark. He orchestrates Joffrey's assassination. Every major conflict in Westeros has his fingerprints on it. But it's not just chaos. Littlefinger controls the brothels, he manages the crown's finances, and he uses information as currency. He knows everyone's secrets, and he uses that knowledge to advance his position. He operates multiple schemes simultaneously across an entire continent. His weakness is that he underestimates Sansa Stark and the Stark children's ability to work together. His obsession with Catelyn and Sansa becomes his blind spot. But Littlefinger represents corruption as social mobility. He used it to rise from nothing to one of the most powerful people in Westeros. That's why he's at level 5. At level 6, we have Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Frank represents corruption at the highest level of American politics. He murdered, manipulated, and backstabbed his way from House Majority Whip to President of the United States. Frank's genius is his strategic patience and his complete lack of moral boundaries. He pushes Zoe Barnes in front of a train. He orchestrates Peter Russo's murder and makes it look like suicide. He manipulates the president into resigning. He controls the media narrative at every turn. Every move is calculated months in advance, but it's not just violence. Frank understands how to corrupt systems themselves. He corrupts the Democratic Party, he corrupts the legislative process, he corrupts the media, and he corrupts the presidency itself. He doesn't just participate in corruption, he becomes corruption wearing a suit. His weakness is that he operates in a modern democracy with free press and investigation. Even with all his power, he's always one scandal away from exposure. He's also too willing to get his hands dirty personally when he should maintain distance. But Frank represents the peak of political corruption in a democratic system. That's why he's at level 6. Level 7, Emperor Palpatine, Star Wars. The absolute peak. Emperor Palpatine represents the ultimate achievement in corruption. He didn't just participate in a corrupt system, he corrupted an entire galaxy-wide democracy and transformed it into a totalitarian empire while making everyone believe he was saving them. Palpatine's genius is his dual identity and his generational patience. As Chancellor, he was the face of democracy and stability. As Darth Sidious, he was orchestrating the Republic's destruction. He engineered a galactic war where he controlled both sides. He corrupted the Chosen One himself, turning Anakin Skywalker into his weapon. But it's not just manipulation. Palpatine corrupted every institution simultaneously. He corrupted the Senate by making them vote for dictatorship. He corrupted the Jedi by turning them into soldiers. He corrupted the legal system by making tyranny legal. He corrupted democracy itself by making people beg for their own enslavement. His operation took decades of perfect execution. He destroyed the Jedi Order, the galaxy's moral authority. He created the Empire from the Republic's ashes. He turned the symbol of hope into a symbol of oppression. And he did it all legally through the democratic process. The only reason Palpatine eventually falls is because he underestimated the power of redemption, which his corrupted mind couldn't comprehend. But for decades, he ruled a galaxy through the most sophisticated corruption in fiction. Palpatine didn't just use corruption, he became the living embodiment of it. That's why he sits alone at level 7. So yeah, most corrupt characters get caught, exposed, or killed. Palpatine corrupted an entire galaxy and ruled it for decades. Let me know in the comments who you think mastered corruption better than anyone else. And if you want more rankings breaking down fictional worlds like this, you know what to do.